Welcome back to 101 Sports. I'm joined again by our two tennis experts, Rajat Agrawal and Joe D'Arienzo. Guys, the U.S. Open finished up yesterday, and boy, was it a great match. But Rajat, which player had the best overall year in tennis?
It's a tough question because 3 players won majors this year, but I've got to go with the biggest major, Wimbledon, Andy Murray. The first player in 77 years, first British
Only one
man
guy won 2 majors.
to win in 77 years.
I'll give him the
magnitude of that
Historical
win.
Achievement Award. But Nadal won 2 majors. He won 88 straight service games on hard court, which he's supposed to be the worst at. He won the U.S. Open for the second time, his 13th major.
You've got to look what Murray did for an entire country, and it was the second highest ESPN tennis audience in history. That many people were interested in it.
It was a great moment for Murray. It was a great moment for England, so they could stop talking about them not winning anymore. But Nadal destroyed everybody. After being off 7 months with an injury, he came back, went 24-1 against the top 15.
That's pretty good.
He was on fire. He had 4 unforced errors against Djokovic last night.
But numbers-wise, yes, Nadal has double the earnings, double the titles. But if you look at the biggest major of them all, when it comes down to like the Super Bowl of tennis,
But when it comes down
Murray
to
won it.
wins and losses in a sport like tennis, when Nadal has more, he did better.
I think both these guys really had a very good year for themselves.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Nadal obviously getting back on track as that dominant
Yeah.
person, and Murray finally getting in the big-time major talk now. So both guys had a good career, good year. Guy didn't have
Absolutely.
such a great year. Roger Federer. Is this the beginning of the end for Roger?
You know, I think it unfortunately is because you start to see that luster of the Swiss maestro as we used to see him. It's not always there anymore.
So sad.
He makes unforced errors all the time now. It's
and
a
he
different
loses
Federer.
to all these people that he made look silly for so many
Yeah,
years.
Tommy Robredo is there to keep the ball in, get a couple winners every once in a while, and Federer lost to him. Federer had more unforced errors than him.
Yeah, but the thing is,
not
I
the
think
same
he's going
guy.
to stick around for a couple more years because when you watch him play and you watch
Why?
him lose to these people, it doesn't faze him. He's not
That's
like
because he's a
banging his
robot.
racket.
That's not because...
No, I think he just enjoys the game. He truly enjoys playing tennis, and he's just going to sit out there and play the game, which I think is wrong. I mean, his legacy is going down every time he steps
I think
on the
you're right.
court.
I think he does still enjoy the game, but I think he has to realize he doesn't want to do what Leighton Hewitt did and play until he was unranked. I don't think that's what Federer is going to do. I think he's going to try to keep his legacy intact, retire when he's still in the top 25
Yeah,
at least.
at
He's going to be
least.
out of the top 10 by the Australian Open next year.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting ridiculous because he's losing to people that,
It's still weird to think Federer's not a top 5
Yeah.
seed.
Absolutely. And a guy who actually did just call it quits in his career after the U.S. Open is American James Blake. So, guys, what's your lasting memories of James Blake as he enters retirement?
It was sad because for the last decade, he was probably one of the most entertaining American players.
Oh, absolutely.
Incredibly easy to root for.
Yeah.
And I mean, he inspired a lot of young kids. I mean, I grew up watching him. I really enjoyed watching him. Just the fight he had, he just never could get that break to win that
Yeah,
major.
he had that never give up attitude since 2004. 04, he broke his back running into a net post. His dad died of stomach cancer, and he got the shingles and lost. He had face paralysis, and he came back from all that and became the number 4 player in the world 2 years later.
Yeah,
it's a great story.
I think you hit it right there. People forget how good
Yeah.
he was. He reached number
and
4
yet,
in the world.
never made a semifinal in a major. USA Tennis.
I mean, he won 9 titles from 2005 to 2007.
And
I mean,
we
that's strong.
can't forget his best achievement. I mean, second place in the Bravo Celebrity Poker Tournament, right?
Oh yeah,
Oh.
hitting home runs in Houston and Miami.
Exactly. I mean, the tennis
All
world,
sport athlete.
the American tennis world, for sure, will be missing James Blake. Time to take one final break, but coming up, Jake and I will talk about one of the all-time greatest coaches doing something you have never seen.